this is where I'm curious about that infinitely regressive question. Like, where does that data come from?
Well, the nature of it is that it can't fail to be there. So it doesn't come from anywhere. It's like a light switch that
Uh,
if you imagine that on is things existing and off is things not existing. It's like off just isn't there. There isn't a way to switch it down. So asking the question, how did it come to be switched on? It's like there
right.
isn't an alternative. So there's no need for it to come to be. It just it cannot fail to be, basically.
Yeah, that's the non-contingent aspect of it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's an absolute.
Yes, it's an absolute yes.
Yeah. And that's where it's interesting, right? Like, why is it that we have the capability to question the absolute? It's like, well, it's you either accept it or you don't, or you move on, right? Like, but we like to ask the question, where does it come from? How does it work? How can it be? Um, and I think that's where the answer has to be experience it if you want to understand it. Don't ask that question. Um, but if you're gonna ask, or if you're going to try to understand the nature of reality for practical purposes, or to extract some kind of utility, then you do need to conceptualize how things formalize themselves in the
Yeah.
world. And I think data and logic, I love it because what it does is it creates a linchpin, or it creates a dovetail between the most abstract thing that you can get and the most concrete.
Hmm.
And me being a guy of dualism, or playing with dualism and finding a way to connect them, that's a beautiful idea. Is that logic and data do have an intrinsic connection together? It makes sense. I think that's what distributes itself throughout all of reality. We see that in many ways. Um, and I don't know what kind of utility it can lead to, but I think it's an important path forward. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that the dual aspect monism is one area where we have a lot in common, very much on the same page as to, I think, the correct kind of reality theory, or however you want to label it, metaphysics, is going to be some variety of dual aspect monism. I think that that's the only way of accounting for difference and oppositions that naturally populate the entire world, while also maintaining the intuition that ultimately, there's a one. Everything is ultimately one existence. There's a unus mundus, as Jung would call it.